Hello, buddy. It's Bendominator, and welcome back to another episode of the Bendominator Podcast. Today, we are on episode 11 of the podcast, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day today. We do have a little bit of Fortnite news to talk about, but before we get into that, I just want to say that if you guys want to send me questions for future episodes, you can put them in the comment section of this episode, or you can always send them. I always do community posts before episodes go live, so you can always send them to that, and also on my Discord server. All the links below on my Discord server, on my Twitter, and everything are in the description below. But yeah, we are yet again here doing another episode of the podcast. Not a whole lot of Fortnite news to talk about, like I said before, because it's been a dry couple of weeks for Fortnite, I will say. But I do want this episode to be a bit more positive. I feel like the last few episodes that I've done of the podcast, the last few videos in general, haven't been super positive when it comes to Fortnite, just because I've been kind of bored of this season, me personally, and there's a lot of things that I'd like to see happen with the game that really haven't happened. But I want to be a bit more positive this episode. There's not a whole lot to talk about, so there's going to be a lot of this episode is just going to be me answering a bunch of questions. So hopefully you guys are into that. But yeah, there is some stuff that I just wanted to cover in terms of Fortnite news. The most important thing and the most relevant thing at the moment is the LeBron James collab has finally been actually revealed to us, and the cosmetics look really cool. The only weird thing is that they are selling him as two separate skins, which seems a bit weird to me. I don't know if that's a thing with like Warner Brothers wanting the Space Jam one to be separate or something. I'm not really sure. I mean, the skins do look pretty different, but I feel like it easily could have been edit styles, so that's a bit disappointing. Other than that, though, the cosmetics look really, really cool. There's a gold slider for the main one, and then I'm so glad they did the Space Jam outfit. That's what I was mainly hoping for. If you watched last episode, I kind of was talking about how I wasn't really sure how they were going to do it, because whenever they do kind of the sports players as the icon series, it kind of just feels like the normal ones. They did it really well. They did it really well last season with this. I'm forgetting the name. But that was really good. So LeBron James kind of the game is really cool as well, and he has quite a lot of unique edit styles. I mean, it's definitely a lot better than I was expecting it to be, so I'm very, very happy with that. I think the skin looks very, very nice, and probably not one I will be getting, but I think it's really nice, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy the skin. The skins. I don't know which one's going to be more popular. I feel like a lot of people are going to go want to go for that Space Jam one, but the golden one is really cool as well. Like the king one. It's weird how they separated it into two. It's gonna make people have to like pick and choose which ones they want, which is not great. I don't love that. It seems that they kind of did that just so that they could profit off of it a bit more. Either that or Warner Brothers wanted to keep it separate because of the fact that the other one has the Looney Tunes collab, or the Space Jam collab rather. So it's interesting, but at least both skins do get a lot of really cool cosmetics each. They definitely both feel like separate, like they feel separated enough to where it's not like terrible. I just would have liked to see them be the same skin, but oh well. People are just gonna have to pick which one they want for the most part, which kind of sucks, but I think if I had to choose, I would go for the Space Jam one. But I like both a lot. I think they both look really cool. And then also it seems like we're going to be getting another content update tomorrow, not an actual update. Unfortunately, probably not 17.20. Seems we're just going to get another thing like we did last week where we got Holly Hatchery. It seems like we're just going to get some kind of new item in the game tomorrow. That's probably all we can expect to see because Epic just got off break. They sent another teaser that is very similar to the one that they sent last week. And if they were going to announce an update, they still have time to, but a lot of people are saying that it's probably not going to be this week, which is very unfortunate because I feel like, I don't know, I've really been waiting for an update for a very long time at this point, and it's very, very difficult to make content during a time like this. And even during last year, when like during the winter when they were on break, even then I feel like there was a lot of stuff to make content on. And it's just it I feel like I wouldn't mind as much if I wasn't making videos. So it's definitely something new for me. I'm sure most content creators have gotten used to it by this point, especially a lot of content creators that have been around for a long time. But since I'm pretty new to making Fortnite content regularly, it's been almost around a year at this point. So, fairly new, especially compared to a lot of other content creators. It's definitely difficult to make content during when they go on break, and that's no fault to Epic Games. They definitely deserve their breaks. I'm glad they are getting their breaks. It's just something to think about. So, if I haven't been making as many videos, that's why. It's been a very good time for me to experiment with stuff, though. And in terms of like, I've always kind of been a person where it's like, if you're not having fun with the game, just play something else. I will say, like, I have been complaining a bit about this season being kind of boring, but I think I need to kind of go back to that mindset of just me being like, because when I used to find the game boring back in other seasons, I'd just play something else, just do something else until the update drops. And I think now that I'm like making content, I always feel like I need to be playing and that I need to be making videos on it all the time. And well, it's healthy for the channel to consistently upload. I think that when it comes to things like this, when it comes to when we kind of have content droughts due to Epic Games being on break and stuff like that, it's a nice time to just kind of sit back and brainstorm and just be creative. And that's what I did with my most recent video that I uploaded yesterday as I'm recording this and as you're gonna be seeing this. And I think it turned out really, really well. I made a video, if you're curious, I made a video talking about reskins and my whole thoughts on them. And I went for quite a different approach. I've done highly edited videos in the past, but this one was a bit different. It was a bit shorter and it was a bit more concise and it was a bit more comedic. And I really liked making that video. I already have another one planned, and those are the kinds of videos I want to make more consistently. Those aren't the only kinds of videos I'm going to make, but those are going to be kind of hopefully like a weekly type of video that I end up making as well. And those are going to be the kinds of videos that are really fun to do when there's content droughts like this. And like I said before, having a major content drought wouldn't bother me as much if I wasn't having to make videos consistently. And I think that once next week rolls around, we'll be seeing some stuff. And I commend Epic for even going out of their way to just supply us with these little content things in the meantime, having all these things in the files, slowly decrypting them, like Holly Hatchery and stuff. Even if I'm not a huge fan of it, it is cool to see. So, at least we got something, and the whole LeBron James news is definitely something to get excited about. So, I'm happy about that. I feel like they might as well have just extended the summer event. Like, I don't know why, if they weren't going to release an update, I don't know why they didn't just keep the summer event going. But, I don't know, who knows. I guess they like it being short so that more people kind of have to play more often during that 2-week time, I guess, so that they can get more people to want to play. It'd be like, oh, you only have a short time to do this, so do it now. And because if it was 4 weeks, then a lot of people probably would wait a lot longer. So I guess that's why they do it so short. I just feel like extending, like just having a bit more of the summer stuff still happening would have been fun because now that the summer updates passed, it kind of feels like, I don't know, it kind of took a little bit of the personality away again. I don't know. It's not a big deal, but just something I've been thinking about. I feel like I really enjoyed, even if the summer update didn't have a lot going on, I at least enjoyed like the little change of scenery at Believer Beach and stuff like that, and having like the summer shops and stuff. But yeah, it's not too big of a deal. Overall, I am excited for tomorrow. Seems like we'll be getting something. We still could get an update. Again, Fortnite hasn't announced anything. I doubt it. So many people have been saying probably not, and the fact that we got a teaser for like a content update that was something that's already in the files seems like that's not going to happen. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it, honestly. I have a cool video planned. Once the MX content update comes around, we'll be making a bunch more content again. But as for now, we just gotta wait it out, which is fine, honestly. It's fine. So we'll be waiting for the next update. I got a cool video planned, like the reskin video that should be coming out next week. Of course, if the content update's big enough, I might make a video on that, and a bunch of ranking videos I want to make as well. So we got some cool stuff coming for the channel, and yeah, hopefully once we get around to having 17.20, hopefully it'll be really really cool as well, and I'm excited to see what happens with that. But other than that, like really not any Fortnite news. Again, like I said, just not a whole lot going on with the game right now, which makes sense. Of course, they're on break. So yeah, and since Epic is off break today, I think they either got off today or this is their last day of break. They'll be back to be preparing the next update. We'll probably see it going to staging pretty soon, and yeah, we'll get it next week, I think. So that is a very exciting, and of course, LeBron James is gonna hold us over in terms of Fortnite news because he's coming out on Wednesday. So that'll be like the only new skin that I think we'd get this whole week, but it's better than nothing. So I'm happy about that, and it is 2 skins and a whole bunch of cosmetics. So it was very smart of them to wait to do that. And it was very smart of them to hold off on that whole Lava Legends bundle too, because we got that last week. Because that was like the main cosmetics we got last week, 3 skins, back blings. So they had the summer stuff, they had the skins and back blings, they have LeBron James this week. It only makes sense for next week to be the update where they bring out a ton of new skins again. So yeah, that it all in retrospect it makes a whole ton of sense. And yeah, I'm happy about it. Holly Hatchery getting updated every few days has been really cool as well. Even if I feel like they're actively making the location worse, they're changing it. At the very least, they're changing it. And it's more interesting. And I'm never going to complain about something being more interesting. So that's that, I guess. But even though it is quite early on in the podcast, I think I'm going to move on to the viewer questions portion of the episode. Because, again, like I said, not a whole lot of news. I kind of gave all my thoughts on everything. And kind of already said all my thoughts on the channel at the moment. And I think I'm just going to get into some viewer questions. So again, if you want me to answer any questions on the next episode, I always put out community posts. And you can also join my Discord server. I have a question of the day tab there as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the first question here over on YouTube. And this is from Kiza FN over on YouTube. He says, are community/teams important for creative maps/battle royales? And to this I always say that having a creative team or having multiple people working on a map usually always makes it better, as long as you're working with the right people. And I find that having a team is definitely very important when it comes to making maps, and that it can definitely improve a lot of maps, and it can help you yourself improve and create a lot more as well. Now, there are a lot of talented creators that work by themselves, which I understand that, and a lot of people work better when they work by themselves. But for me personally, working with other people not only has made me better at creative, but it's given me so many different perspectives and ideas on what makes a map fun. And to that, I think working with a team is always such a good idea. Of course, make sure you're working with the right people and make sure that you just all work together very well. With the dev team, luckily, we work together very well, and it works out really nicely. And I've seen other creative teams do the same, and I think the best maps are often made by multiple people. Again, not going to discredit anybody who works on their own, but me personally, I feel like working with a team is a lot better, and it's made me a lot better at creative, as well. So I think it's always a really, really good idea to work with a team of people. Plazy the Pug says on YouTube, how do you feel about LeBron James coming to Fortnite? Now, of course, we already talked about this quite a bit. But overall, on how I feel about it, I think it's really cool. I'm very excited for the skin. I probably won't end up buying it. Again, little iffy on why they're selling two of them separately. But overall, very cool set, very cool cosmetics, and I'm excited about it. So overall, I really, really like it. Nightcore the Nightwing asks on YouTube, what is your favorite Fortnite emote? Now, this one's a hard one because I've had a lot of favorites over the time that I've been playing Fortnite. I would say that my favorite used to be the phone it in emote, which is like the saxophone emote. I always really liked that one. But there are a lot of emotes. I really, really, the Rick dance from this season is a very, very fun one. I think Rock Out is probably my favorite. I hope they make a new version of it, something more updated, because it is definitely one of the, you can tell it's one of the older emotes. But I do really like it. I also like the dribbling emote a lot. I like a lot of emotes. But I would probably have to say that my favorite is the Rock Out emote. I think that is definitely my favorite emote. And before that, it was the phone it in emote. I think the only reason I don't like the phone it in emote that much anymore is one, because I kind of used it so much to the point where I kind of get annoyed by it. And two, it just doesn't look right with AXO. So I just kind of, since I use AXO a lot, I don't end up using it with him. And I just kind of stopped using the emote after I started using AXO, after I got AXO, because I was like, this looks weird with AXO. So I just don't use it. And it looks weird with a lot of skins. That's one of the problems with it, because a lot of skins are either wearing helmets or they have like differently shaped heads. And of course, having the emote be you playing a saxophone can make certain skins look weird with that. So I think Rock Out is probably my favorite. I love all the instrument emotes a lot. So in terms of all of them, I think Rock Out just works the best. It has a really cool riff with it and really cool animation. I just hope they make more of those emotes, because it could use a bit of variety. But I do really, really like it. Omega Royale on YouTube asks, what is your favorite thing about Chapter 2, Season 7? Chapter 2, Season 7, what's my favorite thing? Honestly, one of my favorite things is the skins. I think the cosmetics this season so far have been extremely good. I've loved the cosmetics so far. It's been very, very fun to see which new cosmetics get added to the game. And the battle pass is great. Just everything that we've gotten in the shop has been really fantastic. All the collabs have been great. I just love the cosmetics this season, honestly. That's probably my favorite thing. All the free rewards that we got for the summer event, super, super cool. And that probably has to be my favorite thing about the season, is the cosmetics. Because other than that, like, I like the gameplay. I like a lot of the stuff with the IO bases. The IO bases might be my second favorite thing. I really like going to those IO bases. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, so much about the season is super solid, honestly. The season is a really good one. It just hasn't been able to hook me very well. It hasn't been able to keep my attention, which is very unfortunate, because I really do like what they've been doing with the season. And I've had a lot of fun playing it. But just doesn't have like that big thing that just makes me love it, you know? So that's what I'm waiting for, and I feel like the season has so much potential. I'm sure something like that will come eventually. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what happens with the season. I feel like the season has a lot of potential, and it's just been a while since we got an update, so it's felt kind of bland. But of course, I have full confidence that with the next update, we're going to be seeing some really cool stuff, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited. Hopefully tomorrow. Also, I didn't mention this every podcast. I feel like I mentioned the Colossal Coliseum prefabs. Please let tomorrow be the day we finally get it, because that would make a lot of sense as well that they're holding on that, just so we can have a bit more content for creative. Because it's in the files. I don't know why they would wait until next update to release them, so I'm thinking tomorrow is finally when we get it, because within the context of us probably not getting a actual update, it would make a lot of sense for them to wait until then to release it. So I'm very excited about that. And it's also the first patch that they're releasing, not really a patch, but the first content they're releasing like after break, because last week they were on break and they released a patch, which makes sense. I feel like this one's going to be a lot better just because they're back from break. They have a lot more time to release it, and they're going to be able to fix a few bugs from the last one as well. So that's exciting. And yeah, again, just excited for tomorrow. Sorry if I'm repeating myself a bit, but again, just kind of reiterating the same points about what's going on in Fortnite right now. Because again, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, but I hope you guys are still enjoying the episode nonetheless. Commander Coral asks, why do you get bored from every season? Every single one, whether people hate it or not, you always get bored of it. I would say honestly that I don't really get bored of it. I would say that I would say consistently at the end of every single season, like the final few weeks, I get bored of it, but that's just natural. I think most people tend to get bored at the end of every season. But for the most part, this is the only season since season 4 of this chapter that I've really kind of not felt as excited to play the game. And that's not, for this season, it's not because the game's bad, it's just because the lack of new stuff that they've really added recently. Or not really the lack of new stuff. See, I always say this. I'm always like, I get bored because they haven't had a lot of content, which I guess you could agree with, but it's really just the fact that they've been adding content. Even when they're on break, they added a patch, not a patch. They added a content update with like the nanites and the whole Holly hatchery. They've been doing stuff, but it's just the fact that none of the stuff they've added since the launch of the season has interested me personally. And of course, that's all up to kind of your interpretation. That's all your own opinion. Like, a lot of people love this season. A lot of people love everything that Fortnite's giving us. Some people don't like it. And it's all personal opinion. And for me personally, well, this season has an extremely strong launch. It has a really good core to it. None of the stuff they've added since then has piqued my interest. So, that's just me. That's why I personally haven't been very interested in this season compared to others. Now, last season, I had a ton of fun last season. I definitely was not bored of last season. Now, I was bored near the end of the season, and I think that tainted my view of it a bit, especially when doing the review. But as I said in the review, even though I brought up a lot of issues I had with it, I still ended up loving it for the majority of the time. And that's why, personally, Season 6 of this chapter is still one of my favorites. I like it a lot, because I had so much fun with it. And well, the last few weeks, I kind of ended up disliking it near the end. I think that's only because I just played it for so much, and I started to realize a lot of the flaws in it. And well, a lot of the flaws exist with that season. It was just so fresh. It was so new and interesting. The crafting, all the different biomes, all that kind of stuff. Even if it wasn't that great, it was still so much fun and so different. And it made the game feel fresh. And I appreciate that season for that. For Season 5, I was one of the only people who didn't get bored of Season 5. Chapter 2, of course. And I didn't even get bored at the end of Season 5. I don't know why I had so much fun with that season, but I loved Season 5. I thought all the map changes were great. In terms of map changes, that was probably the best season that we've had in Chapter 2. It was just great. I love that season. And even if it kind of dragged for some parts, there were some parts that weren't so great when it came to content. There were other parts that were amazing in terms, like the winter updates, all the stuff near the beginning of the season, adding all the new weapons, the new game modes with the Mandalorian, all that kind of stuff was so much fun. And I appreciated that a lot, and I love Season 5. Season 4, first one where I kind of got bored. Didn't love Season 4, but it wasn't because of this season. Like, this season, again, a lot of content just doesn't interest me that much. Season 4, I actively disliked pretty much everything about this season. So, of course, I wouldn't be very happy playing that season. I mean, I didn't hate it because, of course, Fortnite is always going to be Fortnite. So, I still enjoyed it because I enjoy playing Fortnite. At its core, I like Fortnite. So, I still enjoyed the season to an extent, but definitely my least favorite of this chapter. Season 3, most fun I've had in this chapter. Most fun I've had in Fortnite in such a long time. Never got bored of that season. I was sad when it ended, and I still want to go back. Season 2 was probably the most bored I've been in Chapter 2. Same with Season 1. Not a lot happened during either of those seasons. Again, Season 2 was one of the ones where I kind of actively disliked a lot of the stuff that was in it. Season 1, I loved it, but not a lot to do. Season 1 is kind of in the same camp as this season. I loved Season 1. Great core, great map at the start. It was really, really fun. Of course, having an entire new map is the most exciting thing in the world, so I loved playing on that map. It just, they didn't do a lot with it. They didn't do a lot, and that season really didn't reach its full potential for me. And yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I feel like Season 1 and Season 7 are kind of parallels because they feel so similar. I feel like Season 7 feels a lot like Season 1. It's kind of like Season 1 with hints of Season 2. And it just feels, it feels really fun. It feels really good, but it doesn't feel like it's reached the full potential of what it could be. And I'm just waiting for that to happen at this point. I'm just waiting for that moment where this season becomes one of my favorites. But as of right now, it really isn't. And again, that's no fault to the game. The game's fun. Everything about this season is really cool. But in terms of anything that they've added past the launch of the season, I just haven't been too interested in it. And it's caused me to not want to play the game as much recently. And that's fine. That's a completely fine thing. Because that doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing Fortnite. It doesn't mean that I hate the game. It just means that I'm not even taking a break from it. I still play it consistently. So it just means that I don't find it as interesting as I usually do. Which is fine because Fortnite always updates. Fortnite's always changing. Fortnite never stays the same. So even if I'm not having the most fun with the game right now, that could change very easily. So not really a big deal. Again, just because I say I'm bored of a season or something doesn't mean I hate it. It just means that don't find as much interest in it as I normally would during something like Season 6 or something like Season 5 or 3. And that's just how it is. So, take my opinion with what you will. I know a lot of people like this season. Again, I don't dislike it. Just not my favorite yet. And I think I'm very confident that by the end of it, it will be one of my favorites. But we'll just have to wait and see. Again, we will just have to wait and see. Ajals asks a pretty off-topic question, which I think is pretty good, just to kind of let this discussion about the season settle a little bit. He asks, why do you think modern SpongeBob is not as good as the original? And for me, the answer is simple. In my opinion, the reason modern SpongeBob is not as great as it used to be is because of the characters. I don't think the characters are what they used to be anymore. Again, I haven't watched any new SpongeBob in a very long time. I've watched a bit of older SpongeBob recently, and by recently I mean like the last year. I'd say like a year ago I probably was the last time I sat down to like watch SpongeBob, and that was like the first season or two, a few episodes. And I think the main difference is just the fact that the interaction between the characters is completely different, and the way that they kind of the way that the characters are. I'm not very good at kind of explaining this kind of stuff off the just randomly, but I would say that it's mainly just the characters. I feel like they aren't the same that they used to be, and it's a lot more just like, I feel like, I don't know. It's very hard for me to explain this. I don't know why. But yeah, I think that's probably the best answer I can give you right now. If I wanted to explain this fully, I could, but I need to like write down my thoughts on it beforehand. Because that's kind of how I operate. That's why these podcasts aren't nearly as neat as my videos when it comes to how I talk and how I explain things. Because with my videos, I have all my thoughts written down beforehand, and even a lot of the time just fully scripted. At least mostly scripted. So it's like weird for me to just talk just without having like like of course it's weird for me to talk in this kind of format because of course I can talk to people like in real life or online and stuff and be fine, but when I'm talking like to myself pretty much to you guys, I guess, uh it's just weird because I feel like I'm making a video, which I guess I am making a video, but I'm not talking to anybody specifically because when I live stream, which is the closest thing I think you can get to this, I at least have like the chat to show me that people are here and I can see that people are watching. And like a lot of the time I'll do streams with dev team, which is fine, but when I'm doing streams on my own, it's a lot easier to do this because I can see that people are there like watching and I know that I'm actually talking to someone. But when I'm just talking to myself, like I know you guys are listening, it's very difficult for me to kind of organize my thoughts, which is why when I make videos, I always write everything down and I have everything written so I know exactly what I'm going to say, or even to the extent of some videos I fully scripted out, but those are normally the more edited ones. So, yeah. I don't know why, but this episode has been a very rambly one, I feel like. But I hope you guys are still enjoying it. Um, but yeah, in terms of the SpongeBob question, I just don't think the interaction between the characters are the same. I feel like in the old SpongeBob, the characters had a very specific dynamic with each other that they don't really share anymore, and I think they kind of lost what made each character themselves. And that seems to happen to a lot of shows over the course of a long time. It's kind of inevitable that if you're writing a show over a long time with multiple different teams working on it, that the characters are not going to stay very consistent. And of course, some shows do really great at that, and some shows don't. A lot of shows like SpongeBob kind of fall off with that. But a show, for example, which I actually have a question about, Ninjago, for the most part, I feel like has stayed very consistent with its characters, even though it's been running for over 10 years, which is very, very, very commendable, I feel like. And speaking of Ninjago, I got a question from Commander Coral, another one, saying, will you do a podcast on Bendo Bricks? I want to ask questions about Ninjago. Yes. So if you guys are confused, I have a second channel. You can go to my channels tab, and there's a second channel called Bendo Bricks that I've not made anything on yet, but I plan to. I actually have a video in the works right now for that. And it's all about Lego stuff. It's mainly going to be about Ninjago, the TV show side of things, kind of analyzing different seasons and episodes and characters. And I want to do a podcast with the dev team on it because we have been watching the series together. And since we finished watching the first two seasons, I want to do an episode of us just talking about the first two seasons, just the show in general. And yeah, because we've done that a lot on Brim streams. If you ever attended any Brim streams, you probably know. That will go on tangents about it a lot. And I was like, these discussions are so good. We need to have a podcast for this. So I don't know when that's going to be recorded, but hopefully soon. We'll see what happens. But I probably expect a video to come out before a podcast ends up coming out. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that, because I'm not exactly sure. So let's go ahead and go on over to the Discord side of things. I'm not sure how many questions we have. Swirls on my asks, do you like Bad Piggies? Yeah, Bad Piggies pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Um, what the dog doing? I don't know what the dog doing, honestly. I don't know what that frisky little guy's up to, honestly. Um, what's my favorite juice? Jake Doggo asks, what's my favorite juice? I don't really drink juice. I mostly just drink water, honestly. I used to be big into like Gatorade and stuff, but I really don't like anything. I don't like drinking Gatorade or milk anymore. But if I had to say, I really like pomegranate juice. And that might be a weird answer, but pomegranate juice is the only thing, it's like the only juice I think I still drink on a regular basis. So pomegranate juice is pretty good. Uh, but other than that, I don't really drink a lot of juice, but pomegranate's pretty good. Eco Samurai on Discord asks, do you ever plan on making videos with your community, i.e. playing Fortnite with fans, letting community decide how I play Fortnite for a day, etc.? So when it comes to doing those kinds of videos, my problem with that is that if you make one of those videos and it gets like, say it gets like really popular, at least for my channel, say it got like 1,000 views, 2,000 views, that would be an issue because then a lot of new people would come to it and probably subscribe from that video. And then that's a problem because then that's what they expect me to upload from now on. Say I make a video being like making a creative map with subscribers. I make that video, a bunch of people come to my channel from it because those videos do very well, and I could easily see that video doing very well. And they come to my channel and they're like, "Oh man, I didn't get into this video. I want to get into the next one. When's the next one?" And they subscribe and they're like, "When's the next video?" I upload a video and it's lo and behold, it's not a video where I do anything with subs, and they're like all in the comments being like, "This video's alright, but where's the next sub video? When are you gonna make a video doing this with subs? When are you gonna do this with subs?" And then it just turns into me having to make that kind of video all the time, and that is not a type of video that I personally would have very much fun doing. Now, I might have fun doing it the first time, I might have fun doing it the second time, but if I do it, I can already imagine how many people are gonna find my channel through that and just only want that kind of content. And that worries me, so for that reason, I won't be doing anything like that, unfortunately. And I know a lot of you guys think it would be fun, and I think it would be fun for like a one-off video, maybe 2 videos on it. But I don't want that to become my channel, and that's the same reason why I don't do creative tutorials. The same reason I don't do like looking at viewers' maps. It's the same reason I don't do a lot of that stuff, because those are the kinds of things that those attract the type of people that only want to see those things. And when those aren't the kinds of videos I normally make or have that much fun making, that becomes a problem. And I want to make sure I have a community that watches me for the videos that I make already. I don't want people coming to my channel for some random video that I did one time and expecting that from me forever. So that's the reason I don't do stuff like that. I know a lot of people would want to see it. I know it'll probably be very fun, but I don't think it's worth taking that risk, because I've seen a lot of channels, just a lot of people making channels, and they make this very popular video, and they're like, "Oh, I guess this is I guess this is my channel now. I guess I have to make this type of video all the time because this is what everybody came to my channel for now, and now all these subscribers are here expecting this." And then they end up being super unhappy because they're making videos that they didn't even want to make anymore. And I don't want that to happen. That's the last thing I want to happen. So when it comes to those channels, Fortnite commentaries is the bread and butter of the channel, with the occasional Brim Royale, like creative map video. But the bread and butter of this channel will always be Fortnite commentaries. And that's what I want people to subscribe for. That's what I want people to be here for. I want them to be here for Fortnite commentary videos. I want them to be here to listen to me talk about Fortnite, or to hear what's going on, or something like that. Just I don't want people to subscribe to my channel just so I can play their map, or just so I can be in their lobby. You know, I don't want that to happen. So I hope you guys understand. That's why I won't do anything like that. I've said this on streams before, but just to reiterate, kind of give a bit more inside view into why, a bit more of a better explanation. That's unfortunately why that probably will never happen. And with that, I think that's where I'm going to end this episode. We still managed to hit like 40 minutes, so not a completely short episode. Again, I thank you guys so much for all of the questions that you have given me. Without all these questions, this podcast would have been like 20 minutes long. So I thank you guys so much for all the questions, especially all the ones that kind of give me a lot more thought and a lot more discussion. And I just appreciate it. So yeah, if you guys liked this podcast, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new to the channel and you somehow found this through this podcast. And if you guys want to use my supporter creator code in the item shop, it's Bendominator, just like always. So thank you guys so much for supporting me. And I will see you guys in the next podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling for another 40 minutes. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.